I wanted to do a video sort of updating what summer has been like for me in my PhD program here at LSU. I didn't take any classes this summer, so I've had a lot of time to focus on work and preparing for the next year because there's a lot of things that are up in the air that we don't really know how the fall is going to turn out. We don't know what it's going to look like entirely. They told us that they're planning on having people back in classrooms, maybe less students in a class, maybe in bigger classrooms. So it still feels like we're still waiting to see what day one is going to look like of fall 2020. And a lot of it depends on, the coronavirus situation here in the state and nationwide. Basically, I've just been trying to be productive, to relax, to get some work done, to prepare. But yeah, I feel like the summer is sort of a weird one because, usually in the summer, either you're working or you're in school or you have the summer off or something like that. And this one sort of feels like it's been in limbo, kind of. It's just waiting, seeing what's going to happen. And I know that it's been like that for a lot of people. I know a lot of people are thinking about what's college going to look like in the fall. People are maybe still deciding whether to actually, go to college this fall. If you're an incoming freshman, you're thinking about, is it worth it to, start college this year when you may not even be on campus? People really don't know if they're going to be able to be on campus or not. So there's a lot that's up in the air. And I definitely feel for people. It may be even a situation where, we start classes on campus and maybe the virus gets worse again and we have to move back to online. So it sounds like they're trying to plan for being as flexible as possible, which I think is probably the best way to approach it. For myself, looking back at my time in college and the whole experience of it, making friends, going to class, being immersed in the campus life, that was one of the best parts of the college experience for me. And so, I feel bad for people that are starting out that, maybe they're not going to have that at least this year. I felt really bad for the seniors. I think I talked about that in the video I did on when the virus first hit. But the graduating seniors here, I remember in March, the last day of class on campus, people were taking their graduation pictures on the lawn in March. Like, that was just so bizarre to me. And, to not have a graduation, to not be able to walk, to not, hang out with your friends and get that full, semester. But, that was the reality. That was all I had to deal with. And so hopefully it works out. One of the coolest parts about going to a school like LSU, I'm a huge football fan, and so to be able, having gone to multiple games in person, to see that, fantastic season, historic season, to see them win, the national championship, that was just amazing. Part of the LSU experience, I think, was like going to football games and spending time with friends and doing stuff like that. And so I really hope that people have that opportunity, but at the same time, we all need to be cautious and careful about our health. Take this seriously. Limit our exposure. Be responsible. Wear a mask. All those things. Follow the health guidelines of the state and the CDC and all that. And my hope is that that will be enough to allow us to have, the full semester, to have a sports season, to have things back on campus. But a lot of it's just wait and see, and hopefully it gets better. It looks like, I don't know, a lot of places have been getting worse. Just following the news and all that, but we'll see what happens. Quarantining, social distancing, all that. It definitely doesn't feel like a normal summer vacation. Traveling, I was planning to travel and visit my family back in California. I haven't been able to do that yet. I'm sort of waiting for the right time. And I may just have to wait until the end of the year, maybe October, November, December even. That was one of the things I think when the year started, I wanted to be more intentional about, traveling abroad. I had applied to a few conferences internationally. Some of it fell through, and all of this didn't really help that. But I was able to travel in January. I went to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I did a panel on horror films and affect theory, and there was the Southwest American Pop Culture Association in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that was like really my first academic conference. I gave a talk, and then I moderated a panel on horror films, and that was just like a fantastic experience. And so, looking ahead at fall 2020, spring 2021. My hope is that I'm going to be able to travel again for conferences, but some of it may be online. It's just not the same experience. But again, being able to say you did a conference and do a presentation, whether it's Zoom or in person, locally or internationally, it goes on your resume, it goes on your CV. It's going to be helpful. So, a lot of it is just being flexible, rolling with the punches, and hope for the best. I think I really do want to travel abroad eventually. I'm not sure when that would happen, but hopefully, this year, maybe the beginning of next year. But I think planning now is just sort of, again, wait and see. I think it's just, that's like the theme this summer, is just like wait and see what happens. But I'm hopeful football comes back because I'm a huge fan. I definitely want to go to a game. There's like literally nothing like a Saturday night in Death Valley at LSU Stadium. My first game last year, the season opener, I think it was against like Georgia Southern or something like that. Even that was just like people were crazy. Like there's just so much energy and passion around the football team. And then the season that they had, the best games I think were like the SEC games, Florida, Auburn, Texas A&M. Just the energy and passion behind it, even if you're not a football fan, is just amazing. And I really hope that that comes back. But again, it's just sort of, we'll see what happens. But sports-wise, I think like the NBA is planning. They're doing like this sort of like weird summer bubble thing in Florida where people are quarantined and the players are just sort of by themselves. I think the games have started. I'm not really sure. So I mean, there's some glimmers of like things getting back to some semblance of pre-coronavirus, but again, will the season finish in whatever sport you're talking about? Basketball, football, whatever. A lot of it is still we're still not where we need to be. But we'll see what happens. That being said, I'm looking forward to starting up classes again. I'm going to be taking some really interesting ones. And then towards the end of next year, I have to start thinking about like my thesis topic, find some sources. I've started to do some work in that regard, so I'm really excited to kind of dig deeper into that. I should be teaching a course in the spring, so I'm glad that we'll have the fall to kind of settle back in and see where things are, and then have the next semester where I'm teaching a class. So that's something to look forward to this next academic year. So yeah, hopefully I'll be teaching a class, doing some more conferences, maybe traveling. That's the plan. But again, you need to be flexible. You need to roll with the punches and hope for the best. But yeah, that's where things are for me in terms of this year, grad school, all that. So yeah, if you're thinking about starting college, you're thinking about grad school, if that's on your radar, I really hope that things are going well. I think I had to make some tough choices and decisions regarding staying close to home versus traveling, seeing your family at one time versus another. It's been hard on a lot of people for a lot of different reasons, and my hope is that things will get better towards the end of this year, and we'll see where things are at. But yeah, that's just sort of an update about myself. Grad school here at LSU, doing my PhD, trucking along, finished my first year, moving on to the second year, staying on track. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to this channel, I talk a lot about grad school. If you can, please like and subscribe. Still a relatively new channel. It's growing. I'm trying to do more videos about life here in grad school as a grad student, as a PhD student. And then I have another channel where I talk about things like psychology, spirituality, astrology. It's a little bit different content, so I created a different separate channel for that. But if that's something you're interested in, I'll include a link below. Please check it out. That one I just started, so I think that's pretty much it. Take care of yourself, and yeah, I'll see you next time.